You're listening to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO for Real podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all major podcasting networks. I'm your host, JMO! And today's friend is my wife and co-host. How's it going today, Sarah?
Hi, everyone. It's going great today.
Excellent, excellent. Are you all excited for today's installment of Exploring Anime with Friends Movie Edition?
This is a good one. I am.
Yeah, 100% a great one. We go back to the Kodo Shinkai collection today, exploring the world of 5 centimeters per second, a coming-of-age slice of life with elements of romance, released in March of 2007. First, we will meet our couple, Takaki and Akari. Then we will go into the first chapter because this is done as a series of 3 short stories. So our second point is going to be chapter 1. Our third point is going to be chapter 2, and our fourth is going to be chapter 3. And these 3 different stories all cover different phases in our life. Chapter 1 is all about them coming out of elementary school into middle school. After that, it covers the high school years for Takaki, and then finally, the adult years for both of them. And if you're liking what you're hearing today, remember to check us out on social media and give a thumbs up right down there. Just click that like button, okay? All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Let's start with the one who is the main character, the one who's actually visible throughout the whole thing in all 3 of the stories, and that is Takaki. Tell us a little bit about the personality, and we are starting off with them coming out of elementary school and going through their full lives. So a little bit about who he is without giving up too much of his story.
So Takaki is very much a book nerd. He's a quiet kid, shy, maybe, but not like a normal quiet kid that likes to read. He'd rather be in the library as opposed to being out on the track field.
Yeah, and he starts off a little bit sickly too.
He does, yeah.
As a matter of fact, this kind of applies to both of them because the way that they actually got to know each other so well is because they're both in the library all the time, both a little bit sickly, and they both prefer the company of books and quiet, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And this probably stems from the fact that they both come from families that move and travel a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It doesn't cover whether it's political or whether it's military, but they're both now new to the area and they've gotten to know each other really well through elementary school. Anything you want to add about her personality before we talk a little bit about the 2 of them together?
I mean, I always felt she was quiet and sweet.
Yes.
And she also had that book knowledge from reading a lot of books, not just like the fantasy books or the fiction. She probably dabbles in the nonfiction section quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. It doesn't go too much into them individually, especially not in the first chapter. But as it goes along, you learn more about them. We learn more about Takaki than we do about Akari throughout the course of it because we're seeing it more through his eyes. Very intelligent. Even as an adult, he's
definitely
working a job where you expect somebody with like either an advanced business degree or a mathematics degree to be working on.
Or older.
Yeah.
Someone's been in the job longer.
Yeah, you're not expecting someone who's a young adult to be doing what he's doing. And again, it's all very vague because the point of this isn't actually to learn about them. It's to learn about what they're going through. That's one of the things that's really impressive about this one. When we call this one a slice of life, it really is.
It's the most slice of life I think we've seen from Shinkai, to be honest.
It's the most slice of life we probably covered on the show,
That's fair, too.
Honestly, it's probably one of the most slice of life anime or things I've watched, period.
I mean, I have some that are pretty close that I haven't touched in a long time, like old back in the 90s kind of thing that I know I've seen some. But recently, as far as things we've watched, yeah, usually we jump in the wild and crazy sci-fi fantasy genre.
Even then, when you're doing drama or when you're doing coming of age stuff, it doesn't hit as close to home as this one hits as a whole.
I mean, that's fair.
Because these are very real people and they're very much like if you can call it in love when it's early middle school, they're very much in love.
Absolutely.
So talk to us a little bit about them together before we dive into the first chapter.
They're cute. I'm going to start by just saying that. It's a cute relationship. It's like this cute little puppy love. And at first, when like the classmates started noticing that they were just kind of hanging around each other more. They were both library nerds. Kids are brutal. And they were getting picked on and made fun of, and like the whole chalkboard had all sorts of like lovey-dovey, like little smoochy faces of them and like stuff like that, which really upset Akari because like you're making fun of her. Takaki does the good noble thing. He comes in, he erases the board, he takes her hand, which probably just reinforces everything that was written, and runs off with her.
Yeah, because it's funny. They're young enough to where they're at an age where it is a mixed bag, whether it's cool that they're together or
Or whether
not.
it's full of
Like,
it's embarrassing when you're getting made fun of for anything, especially when you're that young.
yeah, and he's very much her knight in shining armor in that
is.
scene there. And as he puts it, because he's narrating through different parts of the story too, as he puts it, he knew they would be friends forever. He knew that they would care about each other forever. And he knew that through middle school and high school that they would always be together. And then chapter 1 kind of begins. We see all this at the beginning of chapter 1, but then the thing happens and she moves away, and it's a pretty big distance.
It's
still
a heartbreaking distance.
it's still Japan, okay? But this
Yeah.
is like very, very far out there. She
Mhm.
moves out into like a countryside of sorts, a place where it's described that as you're traveling there are less and less buildings
Fewer
as you
stops for the train.
yeah, because this first chapter really is about his train ride to go see her and spend some time with her. Talk to us a little about the train ride.
It's depressing. Not him, but it's like the dead of winter. Pretty bad snowstorm going on. And every stop the train station makes, they've got to wait like an extra 10 minutes just to make sure things are safe and clear.
Well,
and go ahead.
To interject real quick, it's not actually the dead of winter because she's hoping he brings the
Oh,
spring.
yeah, you're right.
It's on the
Oh,
cusp of winter and
That's-
spring.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
But keep on.
Yeah. So it seems like the dead of winter then. But yeah, there's snow everywhere. And with the amount of stops he's taking, this is before kids this age had cell phones. We need to preface that. He can't just call and be like, "Yo, babe, train's slow, sorry." He can't do that. So he just has to keep on the train and keep going. And it gets so bad that the train has to stop in the middle of like nowhere. Literally, they're on the track. They're not moving. They're not even at a train station. And it's something like a 3-hour wait. I think it was 3 hours or something like that.
I think it could have been 3. It
But
might have
it's-
just been 2.
Like a really long time for anyone just sitting on the train to have to just wait and not be able to contact the person that you're like picking you up. I felt really bad for him. I mean, he was so afraid that she was just gonna go back home, like leave, because at this point it's just late. There's no reason she should have stayed this long.
Yeah, because I think the original plan, he was going to be there. He was going to spend a little time with her, and then he was going to get back on the train
Yeah.
later that day.
Yeah, just a little day trip.
And by the time he finally makes it to her, the train station is actually getting almost ready to close for the day.
Yeah.
And that moment where he walks in, you felt like this was going to be, no, you knew this was going to be a beautiful story. Because he sees her, she's half asleep by the Franklin stove. Yeah,
That's like a wood stove or something.
the wood stove that
wood
is
burner.
sitting in the middle of the train station. And when he comes up to her, you just see the smile on her face.
Oh, it's so cute.
It's not about you're late. She doesn't have anything negative to say there. Like, she just is happy that he's finally there. He's happy that he's finally there and that they can see each other again. It's a really tender moment. And
It's really sweet.
and she has food ready for him. And talk to us about the whole
Well, the
point with the sharing of the food.
It was just so cute because like he hasn't eaten this entire, like this wasn't that kind of train where there'd be someone walking around offering like, you know, something a la carte or whatever.
Yeah.
He was hungry. Boy was famished. And like, listen, if I was in that situation, anything would have tasted good. And she opens up the box and it's this cute little meal of like all sorts of
bento.
little thing. Yeah, it's a bento box of all sorts of little yummy looking stuff. And he's just like, oh my gosh, this is the most delicious thing I've ever tasted.
And she's like, it's probably not that good. And
Like,
it's like-
You're just saying that because you're hungry. No, it's really like, I believe him. I believe it was the best thing he's ever tasted.
So they sit down and they have that meal
Yeah,
together.
It's so cute.
And they take a walk through the snow and they eventually find it because they have to leave the train station. They eventually find an abandoned shack and there's a blanket in there. And they cuddle up close and they just talk the night away. Wait, I skipped over a very important part,
You-
didn't I?
you did. Autumn would be ashamed of you right now.
I mean, I did it to have a little fun with you. Tell us about that very special moment they shared together under the tree.
So during the time they were apart, they've been writing letters back and forth, and you catch some of the narration of those letters. So before she moved away, she had this random little trivia fact as the cherry blossoms are falling. She says the cherry blossoms fall at a speed of 5 centimeters per second. And it's just kind of like, you need to go on Jeopardy, but it's just kind of like this cute little factoid that she says.
Yeah.
And he appreciates that factoid. And in her letters, eventually after she moves, they're writing back and forth, and you catch some of the dialogue from the letters. She eventually references a cherry blossom tree that she would love it if he could see it when the cherry blossoms are falling. Unfortunately, with the weather the way it was, there were no cherry blossoms on the tree for sure.
Because they promised that they would see each other under the cherry blossoms again when she left.
So the cherry blossom tree, which is huge. I've only seen so many cherry blossom trees. This one was big. It was like ginormous. And
if we don't make it to Japan, we at least have to make it to Washington, D.C.
We do, right?
Like,
definitely. Oh my gosh, Autumn would love that.
We're not that far from Washington,
We're not that
D.C.
far. But as the sky is gently lit in the background with a couple stars, the trees there, they face each other, and it's just this beautiful, sweet kiss. And you're like, these guys haven't seen each other in forever, but they still had that bond. At that moment, it was still there. It was very much alive and well. And it's for a brief second, it's as if
it was the moment of a lifetime.
Yep. And it was beautiful. It was so cute.
A moment of immense significance to both of them that led to the story developing more in the second chapter, because the first chapter ends with him after they spend the night cuddling into each other and talking to each other in the shed. He goes back on the train, and one of the things that they talk about is that he's moving away also, but he's not moving closer to her. He's moving in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
so this
further.
Gap is increasing ever so rapidly, but they had that night, they had that moment, and they can still write each other back and forth.
Of course.
And there is that commitment from both of them at that point as they're heading into the second chapter, the second phase of their lives. But before we turn that page, I'm getting a little thirsty, right?
That's fair.
So I'm going to take a quick dubby break. Today I'm drinking some sort of rainbow sherbet sort of deal. I'm not really.
Box.
You have it right there.
I brought it because, like,
Dad.
because this one was a kind of a mouthful. It's a nostalgic rainbow sherbet pop. I like it. This one was the first one we got.
And we're both drinking
We're
that
drinking it today.
Dubby is a clean energy drink. So it has no preservatives added. It has no sugar added. And yeah, if you want to get 10% discount off of your order of Dubby at dubby.com, just type in our code in all caps, Exploring Anime 524. You get a nice little 10% discount because we sent you that way. And if you like what you're hearing from us in this show, you probably already hit that like button by now. Just hit subscribe. And if you have anything to say about it, leave a comment because we will interact with you. And if you want to watch 5 centimeters per second for yourself, remember to check that out on HBO Max. All right. Going into the next chapter of lives, we don't see Akari much in this chapter. We just see Takaki sending her text throughout it.
We have cell phones now.
Yes,
Yay!
we have cell phones. We are in high school and enter the other woman.
Whoa.
Dun,
Other
dun, dun.
woman.
Kunai. Talk to us a little bit about Kunai.
So at first I was like, backup chick. Hold up. But she's not bad. She's not trying to poach him from anyone. I need to clarify that.
He hasn't said that he's talking to anyone.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a loner, but it's clear that he talks to someone on his cell phone.
Now, she is slightly stalkerish, slightly, because he will be practicing archery at the end of the day, and she will literally just be waiting for him so they could, accidentally bump into each other as they're both getting on their bikes to go home. And they'll be like,
a lot of high school and college students.
oh,
do that.
I know.
They learn the schedule of the one who they want to accidentally run into. I don't know. It is stalkerish, but like it's. It happens a lot in real life, though. That's one of the things that I love so much about this. It feels very much like real life.
Definitely. Yeah. But as far as her personality goes, Kunai's kind of sweet. She's kind of got that shyest personality. She's a surfer. She's trying to learn how to surf, which is pretty fun. I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. Like, I don't think I ever see surfing in any anime for the most part.
Oh, there's plenty with surfing.
I'm sure there is. I'm sorry. You guys correct me, okay? Tell me all the animes that have the surfers in them, and I'll try to watch
leave a
them.
comment.
Please do.
Enlighten my co-host.
Thanks for that.
Hit that comment section.
But seriously, she's a nice girl. She's a sweet girl. I mean, these stalkerish tendencies aside, I'm kidding. It's not stalkerish. I'm joking. She's really a nice person, though. Like, that's someone that you would conceivably want to be with.
Yeah, and her and Takaki, after their extracurriculars, they ride home on their scooters together at night. And many times they'll stop at a convenience store, and he knows what he wants every single time. He reaches for that. It looks like chocolate milk, a large chocolate milk. It probably is, but she takes time to carefully weigh out all of her options and ultimately decide on what she's going to get. And then they spend a few moments outside of the convenience store together talking. And eventually they get back on their scooters. He drops her off at her place where her dog is waiting, and he continues on his way home. And this is life for them. They're best friends.
Absolutely.
At this point. And you're wondering if it's going to become something more. It's just at this point, we know that he went on that journey to be with her. We know how he feels about Akari. And we know that he's sending her long, heartfelt text messages. So we're not sure what to assume because, as I'm just going to pull a Disney Robin Hood quote out of here. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And then Married Miriam, it chimes in, or forgetful.
Ooh.
And you're not sure.
I love Robin Hood too. Why didn't I remember that quote? That was a good one.
Yes, it's a conversation with Lady Cluck and Maid Marian. And that's where we're at this point in time because it's like, because there's nothing going on with Kunai other than a good friendship with her. And you're almost wondering if she stands a chance. And then the day hits and she rides the wave completely.
Oh, it's great.
Tell us about that day.
Well, it's the whole sense of accomplishment. You see her early on struggling, trying to stay on the board. She just keeps falling off and just.
Well, she said it's like the first time in 6 months that she's been able to ride a wave.
Yeah, so it's absolutely fantastic. So she's got this swelling of confidence in her, and she decides she's going to do it. She's going to talk to Takaki.
Minor correction. She decides that if she can't do it today, then she knows she'll never be able to.
That's a good correction. So she goes out and finds him. She knows where to look, not stalkerish. She knows where to look, and she sees him in
You know where your friends are. You know where your friends go.
You know where your pussy is.
It's not. Let's just put that whole thing to bed. She's not a stalker.
She's not.
They're best friends. Okay, we'll put that there.
So she knows where to find him, and he's just sitting in a field, and he's texting. So she finds him in a field, and he's just texting away, and she kind of notices a lengthy text, but while they're in the field, there's actually a rocket launching. Not too far, like close enough where they can see it, but
it's something that came up earlier in their story too.
Yeah. So as this rocket's launching and they're sharing this cool moment, she comments that the rocket, the speed at which it's going, it's 5 kilometers per second. And you're like, oh, that points back. You're like, oh, I wonder if they are going to be a thing. Like that's a pretty cool random factoid to know.
And you see it catches attention for the moment there.
Yeah, and for a moment, maybe we have a new lover. But they continue on their journey. They head to the convenience store. Her bike breaks down, so they have to do the long walk home instead of on their bikes.
And for a moment, you think that maybe this is going to happen. Like, when is she going to say something? And you keep on waiting for her to say something. And she's narrating part of the story at this point in time, too. She refers back to the moment when they watched the rocket together. And she's like, I can't say anything. Because even then, I saw that he wasn't looking at me. He wasn't looking at the rocket. He was looking beyond at something in the distance, something he can't reach, but something that he wants. And we're thinking at this point in time, this is classic Shinkai. This is a moment that transcends, that reaches beyond time and space, love that is chosen above the greater good. This is classic Shinkai moment. But it wasn't. And we're going to give some hard spoilers in this final point. So give you a moment to tune out. Maybe hit that like button, that subscribe button on the way out.
Leave a comment for us.
Anything is appreciated. But we've given you enough time to check out. wasn't that. Because he was typing the text messages, but he was never sending them.
Yeah, when that revelation hit, I was like, oh, I felt gutted.
Chapter 3 begins, and it goes back to Akari. She's with her parents. She has an engagement ring,
Showing off the ring.
and it's a month till the wedding. Chapter 3 hits. Takaki is in his apartment. It's cans, pizza boxes all over the place. He's doing something that looks impressive on his computer as far as work goes.
Yeah, it's sure if it's for his job.
And you start to realize, well, no, you should know completely at this point in time, it's not him that she's engaged to.
And that also gutted me, to be honest.
Talk to us a little bit about their story in chapter 3. And I think we gave all of Akari's story.
Yeah, pretty
Her
much.
life is amazing.
Yeah.
So she has a job, she's getting married, and she seems genuinely happy.
She's happy. Yeah, that's the big thing. She's happy. I'm not really sure what to pull specifically from the final installment. They grew apart.
Yeah.
As much as he held on to that moment they had when they kissed by the tree, he never fully committed to keep going. It's like he got stuck in that moment.
He peaked.
Yeah. So that's kind of where he was. And I'm sure he did text Akari often enough. I'm sure they kept conversation, but he never sent the important message.
And because of that, he's now living in a spot in his life where less and less is having meaning because everything came back to the one moment that he can't go back to anymore.
Yeah.
You know, the truth of the matter is, over time, people do grow apart. If you're not continuing to do things to build the relationship. And that's the twist that Shinkai gave him this one. And this comes before the big twist that he's known for in ones like Your Name and Weathering with You. And you just feel the helplessness of Takaki because he hasn't moved on at all from that moment. And she used that moment as a springboard for the rest of her life. She realizes at some point in time that as beautiful as that was, I can find that again. And he tells himself, as beautiful as that was, I will never be able to find anything else like it. Real people. You wonder if this is based off of a true story of someone he knew, or maybe it's even him. But the message that he's sending is time drifts, but also that people get caught on moments. And you have to learn even the greatest triumph or the deepest sorrow needs to be moved on from. But this isn't a tragedy. Give us the final scene.
So as he's walking around, I think Tokyo, not that it necessarily matters, he crosses over some train tracks. And as he's going one way, there is a woman going the other way. And as they're both walking away from each other, there's this brief moment where Kari realizes it's Takaki and Takaki realizes that's Akari. And after they're past the tracks, the trains go by. So for a moment, there's nothing.
A glance of them both looking back.
They start to turn. They realize they know who it is. And then the trains go by. Akari's gone. And there's some dialogue. Takaki knows that if he would have said something, she would have stopped. But he didn't say anything. And something in him changes. Something in him, he realizes that that's okay. And as he's turning to continue on his way, there's a little bit of a smile. Kind of like he regained himself.
The moment of moving on.
Yeah, he finally got that release to continue his life.
Yeah, because he realized that she's in a spot where she's no longer waiting for him.
Yeah.
He realized that she's moved on, that she looked happy.
She does, yeah.
And that it's time for him to write his story. That paused when he was probably 12, now that I'm thinking about it. What's the average age of a 7th grader going into
It's been a while since I've been in the
school?
7th grade, so I don't remember.
I think it's 12. It doesn't matter. But his life has been on pause. And in that moment, that smile, you know for a fact that he is going to move on to greater things from there. And let me just tell you, this isn't the last thing we see in the movie. We see this at the beginning of the 3rd chapter as a flash forward.
Yeah.
And the rest of the chapters, or I guess the rest of the 3rd chapter is done as a flashback. And then we see it again as the credits are expiring at the end of the movie. And it's like, so for a moment, you actually think that there's a chance that his life devolved further after this
Yeah,
moment.
really not sure for a second
But then
there.
as you're continuing to watch, you're like, oh, no, they showed us a future event at that point in time. So they do a really excellent job with the flashback throughout this, don't they?
They did. Everything was set up so well. At the beginning, Akari's narrating the letters that she has written to him, and you know that they've talked back and forth just by the tone of her letters. And it's just everything played out so well to develop their relationship. And it just, even though it didn't end the way I thought it was going to, it still ended well.
I kind of felt that you saw it coming slightly at the end of chapter 1, and it was completely reassured that it was it when you realized that he didn't send any of the text. So you mentioned about the narrating, and I mentioned it a few times. I love the fact that he kept it simple. 3 named characters,
That's all we needed, yeah.
but he made it complex with them because they all narrate it at different points. You saw back in their lives. You saw flashes of past, present, and future at different moments for at least 2 of them, and past and present for all 3 of them. And they all had their turns telling the story through their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It was just brilliantly done. As far as I'm concerned, this is my second favorite that I've seen from Shinkai, and I feel like I have 3 more to see. But
We're going to watch them all.
I mean, most of them are going to be covered on this show at some point in time, but I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. I thought that it was about the lesson. So they left a little more to go into with the characters. They didn't make them super detailed because they wanted people to be able to see themselves or someone they care about in them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you really hit it there. It was focus, really.
It was focused and with a little vagueness on the outside so that people could put themselves into the story. Because it might not be about love for everyone who's watching it. It might be about a business opportunity. It might be about an old friendship. But I feel like everyone can relate to one of the 3 characters about something as they're watching the story. And that's what is the beautiful aspect of it. Anything else you want to say about it?
I mean, you summed it up really well. I enjoyed watching it. I feel like we're never going to get disappointed by Shinkai. He does an excellent job weaving the story. I mean, it's good.
Yeah. So once again, we met the people who comprised our couple at the beginning of the story, Takaki and Akari. After that, we went into the first chapter of their life together as they're exiting elementary school and heading into middle school. Then we got to see Kunai appear as she interacts with Takaki during his high school years. And finally, we got to see the story conclude, or should I say, really begin, as we see Takaki and Akari move forward into their new lives. We hope you had as much fun exploring 5 centimeters per second as we have, and consider watching this anime movie. Bye. So if you like what you heard today, make sure you listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you stream your podcast. Listen to all of our J-Mill for Real podcasts, and hit us up on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. Once again, this was Exploring Anime with Friends. Let's explore together. And now for a word from our sponsors. And today's show was brought to you by Dubby Energy, a modern approach to energy drinks with no sugar, dyes, or fillers added. Dubby Energy, be better. And use code EXPLORINGANIME524 for 10% off your order. That's EXPLORINGANIME524, one word, all capital letters, for 10% off your latest Dubby Energy order. Link listed in the show notes.